an image that you sometimes see in the depictions of Buddhas. Some cultures, the statues of the Buddhas, you see the meditating Buddha, and they've got their eyes like half open. They're just a little bit open. So they're meditating, but not completely shut with the eyes and not completely open with the eyes. I wonder what that might be about. Well, in meditation, we turn our attention inwards. And so you start to become aware of your inner world. What's going on inside of you. Thoughts, feelings, emotions, body sensations, desires, whatever. Normally, unless we're asleep, normally our attention is in a mix of, kind of being aware of what's happening inside of us, but in a way where we're kind of victim to it because you're not really witnessing it. You're kind of lost in whatever story is running through you, whatever's going on for you. We're kind of lost in the dream of the mind, if you like. Or our attention is turned outwards into the physical world, the physical senses, and so you're dealing with whatever's in front of you, whatever the situation or circumstance you find yourself in. So, for example, if you're driving the car, your attention, at least some of it, has to be directed outwards to be able to see what's going on around you and hear the sounds and respond to the feedback you get kinesthetically through the sense of touch and what's called proprioception, the sense of what body position you're in and how your body is positioned and placed in space. So you're having to deal with all of these things, and that takes our attention, rightfully so if you're driving the car. But what the Buddha is showing in those statues with the eyes half open is an awareness, a dual awareness, both a witnessing of what's happening inside of you and a witnessing of what's happening outside of you at the same time. And because the eyes are only half open, it's a witnessing of the world with some detachment. Yeah, you're not fully lost, wide-eyed in the world, sucked out of yourself, losing yourself in the senses. But you're not oblivious to the senses either. So there's an awareness with a detachment of what's happening around and outside of you, and also an awareness of what's happening inside of you without being so lost to it that you lose your senses. I'll give you an example to make this a bit more relatable. You can be having a conversation with someone, and if you get too caught up in your own story of what's happening inside of you, what happens? You end up missing bits of what the other person's saying. You miss their body language, their face, the tone of voice, and the actual words that they're saying. There's this blank bit because you got too caught up in your own story. It's not just me, is it? So we don't want to be too lost in our inner dream, but we don't want to be too lost in the outer dream. We want to be in that position where we're able to witness both. I'm not saying you have to do this all the time, but as a practice, as a way, it's a good one. It's a good thing to practice. Or maybe you do want to do it all the time. So this awareness of two worlds, as one of my teachers put it, is symbolized in a number of places. So one of them is the Buddha statues I've described. Another place you could see it in the astrological symbol for Libra, which is the scales of balance. So scales of balance, but if you look at the symbol or glyph or sigil for Libra, it's a line, and then on top of it there's like a line with a half circle. It looks like so that's to represent the scales, but if you look at it a different way, it's the sun on the horizon, half up and half down. So it's like half day and half night. And Libra is all about balance. You don't need to know all of that, but it's nice to see that the same message is conveyed in different systems. Another place where it appears is in the mythology from ancient Egypt, where the Eye of Horus is it's like the all-seeing eye on the American dollar bill. That image comes from Freemasonry, and they got it from ancient Egypt. This idea of the Eye of Horus. You sometimes see people with that Egyptian eye, they get it as a tattoo. That's where that comes from ancient Egypt. And so Horus is a hawk-headed god in their mythology. And the thing about a hawk is a hawk has this incredible vision where it's able to see a very long way. So it's about having incredibly acute sight. But it's not so much physical sight. It's this awareness of the witness or the watcher. They call it Sakshi Bhava in Hinduism, in Tantra. It's the mood of being the witness, in witness mode. Yeah. So again, we're seeing from sort of yogic Hindu philosophy, from Buddhism, from ancient Egypt, and then Western astrology. There's this theme that keeps popping up about having an awareness, a dual awareness of inside and outside. And really it's kind of what it means to follow the spiritual path. While you're here on earth in a body experiencing life, is that you're also aware of what's happening inside of you. So there's an inner journey, an inner process taking place, inner growth and change and discovery, as well as an outer journey. And this makes life very meaningful and very rich, where you grow and change and blossom and evolve as a person within yourself as you move through life. It's also very, very wholesome in that there's not a denial of the outside world or the things in life. You can have a full rich life in the world and a full rich spiritual life at the same time. Doesn't need to be a conflict between those two. If we have this special type of awareness where we're watching with just a touch of detachment. Jesus put it as, be in the world but not of it. Which I probably could have just said that and not had to say anything else, because that really sums it up quite perfectly. I really love that thing where the same teaching appears through different cultures and different traditions and different epochs, different periods in history, because it confirms that you're onto something that's a genuine kind of universal, eternal truth there, and that becomes something you can very much rely on, and the proof of the pudding is in the application of that. So if you test that in your own experience, you can verify for yourself the value of what that has to offer.